Welcome to Truman's Town Hall with your host, Matt Truman.
Hello, hello. This is Matt Truman. Thank you for downloading this episode. Thank you for sharing with a friend. Hope everyone is doing good today. It's Friday, TGIF. Lots of things have happened since the last time we've done a podcast. The election here in Huber Heights went down. The impeachment inquiry hearings are underway. There's actually a former ambassador of Ukraine, Yovanovitch, is testifying at the House Intelligence Committee right now. There was another hearing earlier in the week. You can check all that stuff out on YouTube and go to the Truman's Town Hall podcast page. We have the live links that are posted up there when it pops up. Just about, I would say, 30 minutes ago, the news came out that Roger Stone, a friend and part of the Trump campaign, was convicted on 7 counts. I believe it was obstruction, lying to Congress, and some other things. There are some theories out there that the jury pool was tainted, allegedly. I don't have any information on that. I think a lot of times when things like this happens, you get wires crossed and different news outlets say different things. But Roger Stone, you can look him up. There's actually a Netflix documentary on Roger Stone. You can look that up too. Check it out. He actually, when he was younger, worked for Richard Nixon. He has a tattoo of Richard Nixon on his back. He's famous for coming out of court and doing the old Richard Nixon peace sign, the double-handed peace sign. He's a very flamboyant, eccentric character. Roger Stone, convicted. Israel is bombing the Gaza Strip. They killed a high-value target from Hamas, and then Hamas began to send rockets into Israel. Israel has the Iron Dome, which is a defense system that they have where they can shoot down these rockets, but some slip in. So there's a video, I think, out there where it hit the road, and a rocket hit the road, almost hitting a car. I know there were other folks killed in Gaza by the Israelis. So that's heating up. Just a lot of news this week and throughout our country and the world. We're living through a very historic time. I am not well known as being a Trump supporter, but watching these hearings, it pushes some of us, I think, over to that side because we just want to see government working for the people, and it looks like they spend a lot of their time attacking other political rivals, which does not benefit any of us. I'll be paying attention to the impeachment hearings, and maybe we'll do a podcast on it sometime soon. The election just happened. 2 new school board members were elected. Shannon Weldon and Robert Mullins have been elected to the school board, so you're going to have some new, fresh ideas, hopefully, coming to the school board. I think many of us know that the state legislature has a lot to do with our local schools. Now, if I were to give advice to these new school board members, it would be a few things, but one would be this. Get to know your state representatives. Talk with them. Try to lobby to have more control over the district. You have a new superintendent. There's a lot of changes happening within our district. So I think right now, maybe a little bit of the starting next year, some things need to be ironed out. And I look forward to seeing what the new elected officials will do and what they'll bring to the job that they've been granted by the people to do. Hopefully there'll be more transparency out of the school district. I think, if I'm speaking honest, I think that's one thing that has been lacking for a long time. But their position, they're beholden to the state. So talking with these state representatives, getting to know them, going up to Columbus, sitting in the education committee meetings, understanding what bills are coming down the pike so they can, bills are introduced, they can get in the mix quickly and say, look, this isn't going to work out for the city of Huber Heights. Or yes, thank you for bringing this to Huber Heights. And maybe, hopefully, we can have some folks in the state legislature that will allow more control over the local districts. I don't know. I think it's good. I'm just gonna say I think it's good that the city of Huber Heights has elected 2 new, fresh candidates. I think it's going to be a good thing to switch it up a little bit. Every now and again, you need that new ideas to come about, and the city, I believe, chose wisely. So there's that. And good luck to Miss Weldon and Mr. Mullins on their new adventure, because politics is not easy. Unfortunately, sometimes it can be messy, and sometimes things happen that, is out of your control, but you get the blame. And that is what it is, I guess. But I do wish them luck, and I think it's going to be a good thing for the city of Huber Heights. I hope the grade raises from a D to a C or a B or an A. I think that would be tremendous. And I think it can be done. I think there's a lot of smart, hardworking folks throughout Huber Heights that will hopefully see that through. And the new elected officials, I have hope that they'll get in there and work hard to see that happen. Because it is important. It is important, and I know folks would argue, well, it's the grade, and that's just what it is, and there's a lot that goes into it, and I understand that. I do. But it still means something. And I think with new ideas, that has a potential of changing, along with bringing more transparency and letting the folks who did put everyone in office understand exactly where the school's going and how things are happening. So that's good. Glenn Otto won re-election for the at-large seat in the city of Huber Heights. I know I didn't come on here and support Mr. Otto for re-election on the podcast, but in my personal life, yes, I did. I did support Mr. Otto. I sat at a polling location for hours, holding a sign. I talked with all my friends and neighbors who were voting and told them I thought Mr. Otto was the better candidate. What I see is a balance. And I was afraid that if that balance is, it's not really a balance. I think there needs to be more folks independent-minded on council, if that makes sense, which you have time to do. There's 2 years. You might be listening to this podcast and think, I don't know, should I run for office? I would say this. Talk with your family and your friends. Say, I'm thinking about running for city council or school board, whatever. What are your thoughts? I think with your family and your friends, your close family and friends, I think you'll get the best advice. And the most honest advice. Yes, you should. No, you shouldn't. But next in the next 2 years, and this is what I would say to somebody if they asked me, right? In the next 2 years, you have Ward 3, Ward 4, Ward 5, the at-large position, the other at-large position, and the mayor position up for re-election. I'm hoping that there are folks out there now that are looking at that and that will challenge the current candidates. Whether I agree with the current candidates or not, I believe there needs to be a challenge to those positions to give the citizens of Huber Heights a choice. When no one runs, there is no choice, right? And you're stuck with that government. So if you're thinking about running and you live in Ward 3, or you live in Ward 4, or you live in Ward 5, or wherever, and you want to run for mayor at large, think about this real hard. And think about joining the others on city council and providing solutions to the issues that come up here in the city of Huber Heights, and bringing about a real balance of power. Because when you have, it's hard with local government, and I understand that. Because in local government, we're all neighbors, right? And some of us are friends. So it's hard to have, it's hard to run for office in a local capacity because, you got friends that may be on council, or you got friends that don't like folks on council, or this or that. So you got that stuff to deal with, along with knowing what the charter says and how to do the day-to-day as a council member. You have your personal ideas and agenda. We all do, right? I think we all do. Now, whether that agenda is a hard-driven agenda where we're going to get this done, or I'm going to be angry, or it's, hey, I have this idea that maybe it would help us save money here, or we'll be able to provide this program there, or whatever it is. I think it's important that we all are involved in the city of Huber Heights. And I think it's important that maybe you want to run for office. Talk with your family and friends. And then ask yourself, have I been out in the community? Do I know what the city of Huber Heights wants? Because what frustrates me more than anything is when folks run for office and it's about them and what they can do, or they promise things and don't follow through. So I would like to see folks running for office that are a part of the community, that you know your neighbors, so you know what they're thinking and what they would like to see done or changed or maintained. There are a lot of good things happening in the city of Huber Heights, but there are a lot of things that I think we can work on and find even solutions that would help all of us. I think what this last election just proved to all of us was that you don't need a lot of money to run for office. You don't need the backing of a union or of a politician. What you truly need is that grassroots, knowing your community, out there in your community, working for your community, providing a service that the community will say, okay, I'll buy that, right? It's kind of like a business. Folks go into business because they have a product or a skill that they can sell. And that's, in a very small sense, what a politician is. They have a skill or ideas that they can sell to the city. And if they do a good enough job, people will say, okay, I want you to continue that. And I think that's what Mr. Otto proved. I think he proved that he is out in the community. And that, he will step on fire a little bit for the citizens of Huber Heights. I know folks are maybe listening to this going, really, dude? I think he's proven that. And comes with that there are times